Explained. Canada PM breaks down what went wrong with immigration ***. So recently, Canada's Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, sat down to explain the issues facing the country's immigration system. Yeah, it's been a hot topic for a while now, with many Canadians and newcomers alike expressing frustration with the way immigration has been handled. There's been a lot of talk about backlogs, delays, and the overall strain on resources. So, in an attempt to clear the air and offer some transparency, Trudeau shared his thoughts on what went wrong. And, it's not as simple as just pointing the finger. He gave a pretty detailed explanation that we'll dive into here, including what led to the problems, how the government plans to fix them, and what this means for future immigration policies. Let's break it down. #1. Unanticipated surge in immigration applications. Okay, so let's start with the basics. One of the main points that Trudeau made was that the volume of immigration applications that Canada has been receiving in recent years was higher than expected. Yeah, this is a big one. Canada has long been known for its open immigration policies, welcoming people from all over the world. But, the number of people wanting to move to Canada has just skyrocketed over the last few years. This increase, while great for diversity and economic growth, caught the government somewhat off guard, right? Trudeau mentioned that, while Canada had planned to increase the number of immigrants it accepts, the sheer scale of applications, especially during the post-pandemic recovery phase, put a strain on the system. The immigration system just wasn't prepared to handle such a massive surge. So, yeah, it's kind of like trying to fill a cup with too much water. Eventually, things spill over, and that's exactly what happened. #2. Delays and backlogs. The waiting game. I see. So here's where things get really tricky. One of the most pressing concerns that Canadians and prospective immigrants have been voicing is the backlog in processing applications. If you've applied for a visa, work permit, or permanent residency recently, you've probably experienced this firsthand, waiting months, sometimes even years, for a decision. Trudeau acknowledged that this backlog has become a significant problem. The increase in applications led to longer processing times, and, this has been incredibly frustrating for many people. Families separated by long processing delays, workers who can't start jobs because they're waiting on paperwork. It's definitely not ideal. In fact, the Prime Minister pointed out that some people have been waiting for years just to get their applications reviewed. And, when you're waiting that long for a decision, it's not just inconvenient, it's stressful. People have been put in tough situations where they can't plan their futures because they have no certainty on whether they'll even get approval. #3. System overload. Staffing and technology issues. Okay, so here's another big issue that Trudeau explained in more detail. The system just wasn't built to handle this level of demand. He talked about staffing shortages and outdated technology being a major factor in the delays. Canada has been dealing with a general labor shortage in various sectors, and the immigration sector hasn't been immune to that. The government has been trying to hire more staff to process the growing number of applications, but even with more people on board, it just hasn't been enough to catch up with the sheer volume of cases. Right? You can't expect a small team to handle a mountain of paperwork, especially when the systems they're working with aren't optimized to speed things up. Trudeau also mentioned that, in many cases, the technology used to manage immigration data and applications is outdated. So, this is where things get even trickier. If you're trying to process thousands of applications and your system is slow, it's just not going to be effective. Imagine trying to upload a huge file with a slow internet connection. Same idea. #4. Impact on immigrants and the Canadian economy. Another key point that Trudeau touched on was the broader impact of these delays, not just on the people waiting for their visas and work permits, but also on the Canadian economy as a whole. Yeah, it's not just an inconvenience. These delays are also affecting businesses, the labor market, and Canada's economic growth. Think about it. Canada needs immigrants to fill jobs in many sectors, from healthcare to technology to construction. Immigrants contribute to the economy by paying taxes, buying goods, and helping create jobs. But when they can't get into the country on time or start working, it puts a strain on businesses that are desperately trying to find employees. And, the lack of skilled workers has been particularly evident in industries that rely heavily on immigrant labor. For example, the healthcare sector has faced staff shortages, and without immigrants being able to come in and fill those positions, hospitals and other healthcare facilities have struggled to meet the demand. Trudeau did acknowledge that immigration is a critical part of Canada's future, especially as the population ages. So, if the system isn't working efficiently, it's not just a personal inconvenience for immigrants. It's a national problem. #5. Addressing the root causes, government solutions. Right. So, what's being done to fix this? Trudeau, made sure to emphasize that the government is aware of the issues and has been actively working on solutions. One of the main ways the government is addressing the problem is by increasing funding for the immigration system. This means hiring more staff, improving training, and updating the technology used to process applications. I see. They're also looking into streamlining the entire application process. That's definitely needed. With the right digital tools, the government believes they can process applications faster and reduce the workload on staff. They're also focusing on improving the user experience for applicants, making it easier to navigate the system online, track the status of applications, and even resolve issues faster. Additionally, Trudeau mentioned that the government is planning to prioritize certain types of applications to speed up processing. For example, they might prioritize family reunification cases or applications for skilled workers who are urgently needed in the workforce. This could help ease the backlog and ensure that people who need to come to Canada sooner are able to do so more quickly. #6. The future of Canada's immigration system. More transparency and efficiency. Looking ahead, Trudeau has said that one of the main goals for the immigration system is greater transparency and efficiency. I mean, that's really what most people want. They want to know where their application stands, how long it's going to take, and what they can expect from the process. When you're dealing with something as life-changing as immigration, the last thing you want is uncertainty. The government is committed to improving communication and giving people more updates about their applications, so they don't feel like they're in the dark for months or even years. Right? That's definitely a step in the right direction.
Thanks for watching our video. Please hit the button and subscribe the channel.